so my name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and you can find me at stampingwithhart.blogspot.com. The Angels of Peace stamp set, and then I also am going to be using the For Unto Us stamp set, and I have used this combo before. I really think that they just go hand in hand. So I'm going to show you where to find the products in the catalog. I'm also going to talk about my host code so I don't forget, and this host code is almost done, so this will be good until December 15th. If you use this host code when you shop with me in the online store and you're spending $50 or more before tax, you're going to get a free Wink of Stella and 2 Christmas cards from me. And then if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. And I'm going to walk through some catalogs with you guys quickly because we have some outgoing products. We have a new catalog that's going to be starting soon that I really haven't talked that much about yet. So this is our annual catalog, and this is good from May 2021 to May 2022. So this is our larger catalog. This is where you can find those heat embossed powders. Okay, so you're going to be looking on page, let me sure I have, yep, 128. Okay, these aren't the easiest to find, so that's why I wanted to point them out. Just in case you don't have them, if you haven't tried heat embossing yet, if you want to try some new colors. What Stampin' Up! Did was, you can see them here. So it's listed as number 1 in the picture section. And then down lower on the page, this is page 128 of the annual catalog, you can choose between the basics, which is black, clear, and white, or you can choose the metallics, which is copper, gold, and silver. And that's what we're going to be working with tonight. They also have a heat tool available, and that's listed directly underneath the Stampin' Emboss powders. So just something that I wanted to point out, because this isn't something that I talk about every day, but you can see all of those pieces there. Okay, so that's the first part. The other thing I'm going to be playing around with tonight are the sponge daubers. Okay, and that is on page 129, and you get them in a set of 5. So when you get them, they look like this. Now, I'm not going to be using the sponge dauber for the card, but I am going to experiment with it. So I really try to, and you guys have been hearing me say this a lot, I really try to get these projects planned ahead of time so that I'm prepared for the live. But there are some things that I'm a little bit too ambitious on and then don't quite get to play with it before I go live. So we're going to try heat embossing with a stencil. So that's what's available in the annual catalog. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is, I'll just set that over there. This is our outgoing catalog. So we have a last chance list available. If you haven't already shopped the last chance items, I recommend you can go check it out in the online store. And of course, I have all the links and everything to shop with me right on my blog. But I just wanted to mention this because this is current. So this is the catalog that we still have in terms of a mini, but starting in the new year, we're going to be working with a new catalog. So these are the new ones. I cannot open them until they launch to customers, but I'm mentioning it because I am expecting my packages. My packages were a little bit delayed, and I'm a little bit sad about it. I think we all get a little bit sad when our packages are delayed, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'm expecting all of my goodies from my pre-order on Tuesday. So if they arrive on Tuesday, I'm going to do an unboxing, and I plan to do that live. If I can't, then I will post and let you know, and we could always do it Thursday, but I'm really going to try to get into it the day that I get the package. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. So we have a new mini catalog coming in January, and then we also have Celebration starting again in January. So like I said, I can't open these, but I'm just going to introduce them to you because if you already shop with me, or if you've shopped with me in the last 12 months, you're automatically going to get a catalog. You'll get the new information. If you have not shopped with me yet, or if you're interested in getting a catalog, just let me know. I would be happy to send you one if you don't already have a demonstrator. So you can just reach out to me and let me know. So that takes care of all of that. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. And now I'm going to go over the metallics. Okay, so this is the trio of embossing powders. I'm going to put them upside down because I feel like you can see the color a little bit better this way. So the one that's finished is this one here, and this is copper. And it is beautiful. There's a lot of pink in this, and in my personal opinion. I just think that it is gorgeous. But the trick that we're going to be doing is, if you want an exact match to your heat embossing powder, or if you have run out of metallic, you know, cardstock or any of your specialty papers and you kind of need a quick fix, you can create a layering piece basically with your embossing powder to have like a direct match. And I love this look because it almost looks like a hammered metal, but really it's just the heat embossing powder. So we're going to do that in gold and silver. But here's what they all look like next to each other. So here is the copper, here is the gold, and here is the silver. So aren't they beautiful? The gold is a really rich, warm gold. The silver is so classic and it has so much shine in it. I love these heat embossing powders. They're really good quality. I've worked with some heat embossing powders that are not fantastic quality. So you can really tell the difference when you take the heat tool and you start to see them coming up into the imaging. So we're going to use our angel, which you've seen I've already heat embossed. So we're going to just step in with the next step here, which is our sentiment, our star. And then we're also going to do the layering background piece. Okay. So let's start here. When you're doing heat embossing, I always recommend an anti-static tool. And we're just going to run this right on the paper. So I've kind of gotten it started with the angel here, but that's okay. So just wherever you're going to place your star and your sentiment. So I had some pre-cut basic white pieces. This is the regular basic white cardstock. Some of you might prefer to use the thick basic white if you want to prevent, you know, warping or anything like that. It's a little bit thicker of a cardstock with heat emboss, so entirely up to you. With this one, I'm going to do the Merry Christmas sentiment just so that we can have some options. I'm going to be using my Versamark ink. You guys have kind of seen me heat embossing before, but just in case you're new to it, the Versamark is perfect for heat embossing. It's kind of like a watermark ink. Well, it is like a watermark ink is what I should say. All right, so I'm going to place this close to my angel, and then I'm going to take that star stamp and we're going to go just kind of right next to the bird. Okay, and then I actually have 3 separate sheets to catch my paper tonight. I'm so proud of myself. So I just grabbed some scrap paper and we're going to grab the silver one. Usually I'm mixing them, which I don't recommend. So I'm really trying to be better about that. So we're going to take our silver because I'm going to do everything the same color, but of course you could mix your metals if you want to. That would also be so pretty. Okay. Just going to give it a little flick there, and you can see it's nice and clean. That's what the anti-static tool really helps, to keep that powder only where it's supposed to be with the ink. I'm going to put this away really quickly. I'm going to bring in my heat tool, and it's going to get a little bit loud for a minute, and I'm just going to cook this powder. And you can see the difference in the powder before and after it is cooked. So let's go ahead and do that. You start to see that shine coming on there. The best part of heat embossing, oh my gosh. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I love that. Just nice and clean and simple. So what I wanted to do was basically, I'm going to trim off the excess white because everything was cut to like a certain size. And then we're going to have our layering piece for our card base. And I have that here. I might have to cut the next one. Right now they're the same size, but we're going to trim this one down so it's slightly smaller. And we'll create our little heat emboss edge cheat sheet. Like our pretend metallic cardstock. Let's put it that way. Okay. So I'm just going to trim this down. Let's just say 3/4 of an inch maybe. Yeah, we still have our star. That's pretty good. And then here, let's see if I can go a half. That might be too much. Yeah, that will cut into the sentiment. So let's do a little bit less than that. Okay, that looks a little bit crooked. I think I might have cut that a little crooked. Hang on. We're just going to fix that. There we go. All right, and then as for the rest of it, I really like this spacing, so I'm just going to leave that. And for this piece here, we're just going to eyeball it and see how much ink we need to put around this border. And it's really not too bad. So let's say about 1/2 an inch all the way around, or, you know, maybe 3/4. So if you want to be on the safe side, you could do like 3/4 of an inch to an inch all the way around. So let me just get my, we're not really going to need it, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Versamark ink and I'm literally going to just press the paper into the pad around the card, around the card stock, I should say. So hopefully you guys can see, I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but it has that wet look to it. And we want that all the way around. And you have time to, you know, get all of these edges wet before you heat emboss. So you could do it, you know, in a step-by-step process if you want to, but it's fine to go all the way around. Okay. I'm literally just giving the back of the cardstock a little bit of support with my finger and pressing. And I just want to make sure that that's nice and saturated. So I really want these edges to look wet. And let me see if I can bring this back in and show you. So what I'm looking for now is any spot that I feel like I've missed. So this like overlap here, I'm just going to kind of go back in, get that a little bit wet. And then same down here. In those areas where they're kind of overlapping, just want to make sure we have enough. Okay, and then once you're, you know, happy with it, we're going to bring in the paper again. I'm going to close my ink pad so I don't get any powder on that. I'm not worried about the anti-static tool for this because basically we're covering all of the edges and then the layer will go over top of the rest. So it can be a little bit messy looking. And then we're just going to go around and cover it. So and that looks really good. Let me know if you guys already do this trick, if you've done this before. I learned this years and years ago from, her name's Gina K. She had a show called Stamp TV so long ago. I know I've mentioned her before. I was mesmerized with her videos when I was younger. And she did this. And I always remembered it. And I was like, you know, because I run out of paper all the time. I run out of cardstock, or you don't quite get that perfect edge, you know. I'm just kind of cleaning up my outer edges here. And you can trim this down after it's heat embossed if you want to, but I think it'll be fine. Not so much about being perfect, but, well, you know me, it's never perfect, right? But just a good match for your heat embossed image. And so, you know, on the last live where I did so much hand coloring with the images, this time we're really just sticking to the line art by, you know, giving a little heat emboss to it. All right, so now I'm just going to do the same thing. And what I'm noticing here is I do have a couple of white spots. So before I hit this with the heat tool, I'm just going to recover those. I must have knocked off a little more powder than I wanted to. Okay, so hang in there. And I'll just clean this off in a minute. Okay. All right, here we go. Hey, Kathy, how are you? And my favorite part is watching it turn that metallic fabulousness, basically. And because of the way that I did this with the ink pad is what's giving it this look. Okay, and then we're just going to go right down the line here. But here it is. Isn't that so pretty? Okay, so let's see if I can get my, I've got to keep these handy because we're going to use those. All right, so let's go back to our layer, and I'm going to grab my card base. My card base are the same bases that we were using from last week. I had a couple of extras left over. So this is that, you know, when you cut the cardstock in half, score it in half, an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and then you end up with 2 card bases for 1 piece of cardstock. That's not how I cut all of my cardstock, but I did want to do some like that. Isn't that beautiful? And it's really not hard to do. And the amazing thing about the heat embossing powder, just in case you don't already know or you haven't tried it, is that these powders are going to last you a long time. You don't have to use a ton of it. So I'm just waiting for this to cool down. I feel like that's cool enough at this point. That feels pretty good. So I am going to just put some adhesive right on the back of this. This is the second time I have done this where this starts to rip. I am not sure why that is happening. Hang on. Let me get this piece off. Hang on. There we go. Must not have had enough pressure on it or something. I don't typically have trouble with the Stampin' Seal Plus. Okay. Just gonna go around. I am gonna put some in the middle too. I'm giving it some extra adhesive just so that I can get that nice and flat look. This is such a fun trick if you're out of your silver, you know, silver foil or silver cardstock. And I'm just going to put my other layer right on top of it. I'm not even going to use dimensionals. We're going to keep these flat so that they can be mailed easily. Oops, I'm gluing myself down. The one thing I am going to add though is a little bit of gems, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, so we're just going to put that right over top. Okay, I just love that so much. We're going to do it one more time. But before we do, we're going to add our gems. I also added the blessings to you and yours this season and in the coming year. And I also did that in heat emboss. But of course, You could just do, you know, regular ink if you don't want the heat emboss on the inside, but I just thought it was a nice touch. So I was using these on Thursday, and we're going to use them again, the Silver and Clear Epoxy Essentials. I'm going for silver, and I'm going for the diamond again. And I'm just going to put it right in the center of the star. So nothing too crazy, just popping it right in the center, just that little extra something. Let me just make sure that's straight on our star. Yes, I think that's good. Okay, let me see if I can bring that up. Can you guys see that okay? Hopefully you can see that.
Okay, I just want to jump in. I'm going to do a quick voiceover while I am heat embossing the gold card to talk about my pre-order, which should be here on Tuesday. We have a new catalog coming out in January. I quickly referenced it in the beginning of the video. What I did not get to mention, and I wanted to be sure to say it here at some point in the video, is that if you are interested in getting the starter kit, you can actually put brand new pre-order items, that means items that are going to be in the new catalog, in your starter kit now. And when you become a demonstrator, you save 20% on all of your purchases, but you will actually be able to see the catalog, see everything that's in it before it launches to customers. And when you place pre-orders, which you get access to doing before customers get a chance to order, you will save 20% on those pre-orders. You will also get celebration rewards early. So customers will be able to order products and get free celebration items depending on how much they order. And if you pre-order, so once you get your starter kit, once you place your first demonstrator order, you can actually get celebration rewards when you place those pre-order items prior to the catalog launching.
Here are our 3 cards. Sorry that took me a minute to mess with that, but here is, hopefully you guys can see that shine. There is the silver. Here is copper. And here is gold. Okay, so absolutely, and I know I'm not really showing the insides, but the insides are done too. Okay, all right, so the one thing that I wanted to kind of sort of experiment with, and I've seen many people do this really well, I have never tried it, is maybe I should do the silver with the snowflakes and the copper with this, but of course that'll take forever. So I thought I kept the name of this. This is the holiday one. So let me just say that. You can find this in the mini catalog, July to December. There are 4 of them. This, I believe, is part of the gingerbread suite. So we have the snowflake stencil. I'm pretty sure it's gingerbread. We have this stencil here. We have this one, super cute. And then we have this almost like candy cane lines, which I'm always very drawn to line patterns. I really love those. I love those like I love trees. Okay, but I think that these would be stunning in silver. What do you guys think? That's what I'm gravitating towards. Okay, so the way I've seen this done, they usually will use like painter's tape or washi tape to tape the whole thing down, including your cardstock. And then they take a dauber with the Versamark ink or pigment ink. Like if you have like a white pigment ink, I've heard that that can also be great. And then use your stencil and heat emboss it instead of just doing, you know, ink blending. So I don't have painter's tape with me and I don't have washi tape. So I'm going to use this tape that I don't love. It's supposed to be removable, but it's not. Now this dauber is small. I have heard people say not to use the ink blending brushes with this, but that doesn't mean that you can't. I haven't personally tried it yet, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna literally start in the corner. That looks pretty juicy. And I'm just dabbing it. And I'm gonna do that on each snowflake. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Look at how rich that looks. I mean, that is incredible detail. I really should have started doing this sooner. Well, you know what? As we can see, it works. And don't forget Tracy's tip too. So here's what she's saying about the technique that she uses. Push down and twist slightly to make sure you have good coverage. You do have to make sure it's secured down well though. So she's definitely recommending that when you're putting this down, when you're putting down your stencil, secure it. So whether you're using washi tape or painter's tape, which is what I would recommend too, because even if you have this tape that's not supposed to stick, I personally have not found a tape that actually does what it says yet. So just keep that in mind. So if you want to go faster, you can use your entire Versamark ink pad. I did the dauber and I absolutely love this result. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this out. So here we go. Here are our finished cards. I hope you enjoyed the experiment. And then our gold, copper, and silver heat emboss tonight. I will see you again on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. unless I get my package, in which case you will see me live on Tuesday night, and I'll send out an email about it if I do.